cancel everything, hide your kids, hide your wives. Deadpool 3 is coming out.
It's true. It's true. You don't need work. You don't need a job at this point because, Deadpool and Wolverine are coming and there will be nothing left after they're done. So there you go.
Exactly. Amen. Well, everybody, welcome back to Simply Amazing. The weekly podcast that doesn't come up weekly. So,
Oops.
I mean, we're not even bi-weekly. We're not even bi-curious. We are.
Oh, Jesus. I'm ashamed to my own name. A shame.
It's I don't even know if there is it's okay. So homo means same or one, and hetero means different or two, and bi means both. So what does it mean when you don't do anything? Oh, we're the ace. We're ace. We're an ace podcast.
Whoa, bruh, that's wild. I love this though.
Okay, but that needs to change because nothing against ace people. You are valid and we love you, but we need to be more active and we need to be doing this.
I was gonna say I don't feel comfortable representing a community that I'm not a part of. I feel like that is invalid and untrue and cruel. So yeah. Sorry, ace people. We did not mean to borrow your thing. We're going to give it back. We're working on it.
Yeah, but it might not be in the same condition you gave it to us in. And that's just the way we roll. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. We're so sorry.
We are not Boy Scouts here. So sorry about it. Campground rules don't work. Camptown Lady sings her song. So let's talk about this. Okay, so I'm Lisa, aka the OG Master.
We don't know who we are. We were just talking about this earlier. I was like, I haven't sat down here in forever. I don't know who I am at this point.
That's how I feel. And I oh my God. So yeah, I'm Lisa, OG Nocturne, aka, and this is Lauren, right, girl? We're here to talk about, it's not, well, here's the thing. It's not Nightcrawler related, but it's not Nightcrawler related because we don't know what we're going to get out of this.
It connects because Wolverine and Nightcrawler are obviously BFFs, and depending on who you are, they're also lovers and all these other things.
I was going to say buddies, but yes, correct. That's correct.
Yeah. So that's it. We don't even have to connect it to Deadpool. He's just there, Sorry, Deadpool. You're just there.
So I have a quick question about the whole Logan of it all. And this is we're going to, we're 3 minutes in and I'm just going to go for it.
I was going to say, you're already going to piss people off.
Who's the top and who's the bottom? Because I have a theory.
I think we should put a poll on X or whatever social media we use at this
point. I have a theory that I can't imagine it is comfortable for Kurt to bottom with the tail. I just feel like the tail is in the way.
Also, Logan's astronomically more heavy with his adamantium. Imagine trying to hold that up. Let's be real. Logan has to bottom majority of his relationships. He absolutely has to.
Logan is a serious power bottom. I think that's the case. He's a serious power bottom. He will create a lot of power in his bottoming. Yes. Yeah. So, okay, guys, we've solved it. We can go home now. All right. Thanks for joining us. SimplyAmazing.com.
Listen. I feel like people have corrections for us. So, because especially because we've been out of practice these last few weeks. So we'll put a poll up on X whenever this episode comes out.
Oh my girl,
you guys can start.
I'm sorry. Did you just call it X?
Listen, I don't know why I'm being correct about that politically. You're so right. Twitter, fucking Twitter. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Jesus. Thank you. I don't know. Again, I don't know who I am.
I don't know who you are either. Honestly, when you logged in, I was like, this is not my beautiful house. That is not my beautiful wife. But
it's true. Anyway. We are in a domestic marriage, Lisa and I, that crosses states. That's exactly
it is true. It is true, and we get no benefits from it, but all of
zero fucking benefits.
No benefits, but we argue. So it's a good relationship. It's the best relationship I've ever been in my life. That's for sure.
Let's go. Putting on my resume.
This is what I'm saying, right? So I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. We're talking about Wolverine bottoming and Kurt being the top.
Yeah, so the official topic for today, almost 5 minutes in, is I think we all saw whether you watched it the night it came out on the TV or you saw it on social media, the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, which is basically Deadpool 3. But I think it's very smart they're calling it Deadpool Wolverine to separate it from the other Fox films in its own way. So I'm here for that.
I would agree with that. I also think it's like a very clever I would not be surprised if there's a joke in the movie at some point that like Ryan Reynolds makes about giving Wolverine second billing because he like sells everything he does, right? So
right.
I mean, I feel like that is very possible. But I mean, it looks like it's going to be a very meta fun time, basically.
Yes.
Like I mean, we even see like clips of the 20th Century Fox like emblem like in a desert like falling apart. So it's like they're clearly going for it. I mean, I'm really excited. I think I'm just really excited. And I mean, I didn't realize how excited I would be for the cameos until I started seeing them. And I was like, holy shit. I want them to bring as many Fox X-Men into this movie as possible. I just need oh my God. If Ian McKellen showed up, I mean, like, here's the thing. I feel like asking for Nightcrawler to show up is a big fucking ask because both of the people who played Nightcrawler, I mean, I think of the two of them, Cody Smith-McPhee would be the more likely one to show up because Alan Cumming has been so fucking clear about how much he hated that makeup and that whole situation. So unless they've come up with in the past 20 years a much better way to do it, which we know they didn't because of Jennifer Lawrence, then I doubt Alan Cumming's coming back. Cody Smith-McPhee maybe, but he also like was nominated for an Oscar last year. So it's like, he might be like, you know, that he's like running into the same issue that we ran into with the Jennifer Lawrence of it all, where it's like suddenly the actor becomes kind of like bigger than the role. And now like, and then you have a role that's actually quite physical and involves a lot of other stuff that, you know, the actor's now in a position to be like, I don't want that anymore, actually. You know, I know my character's blue, but like, I don't actually want her to be blue. So maybe you just like, don't make her blue. And then we end up with the shitty ass blue makeup that we had in the last, in Dark Phoenix. So, yeah, I don't really know that we're going to get a Nightcrawler. If we do, I will lose my fucking mind. But like Pyro is back, which is so random, but I love it.
It was. I was like, Pyro? Really? We're okay, cool. Like, I'm not mad. Just like you said, like, what? Okay.
I mean, seeing Pyro makes me like, oh my God, are they going to bring back like just the most random fucking characters? Or is it just like whoever they could get on the schedule?
You know what would be hilarious if they brought back Darwin? God. We'd all be like, fuck's sake, thank you. That would be the perfect joke for Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool to pull too. Is like, look, we even brought back the guy who should have even died in the first place.
That would be great. Actually, I would love, rather than actually bring Darwin back specifically, I would love there to be some kind of joke about, like, here's the thing, I would like Darwin to come back in the MCU and like, you know, be in the MCU and part of it. But I kind of would love a joke about like Darwin has been existing as like, just like this sentient matter for the past like 40 years, just like floating around and nobody knows he's there because everyone thinks he's dead. But it's like, no, I've just evolved into sentient matter and I don't know how to let you guys know I'm here, but I've been here this whole time. You know, he's like, you know what he's been this whole time? He's been a like sentient little like bottle of lube on Logan's desk.
That would be wild. I like the idea of him like technically still being around, but he couldn't like tell anybody or do anything about it. And like all of a sudden they find a way to actually bring him back properly. And he's like, you guys are all nasty fucking assholes.
He's like, I don't want anything to do with your X-Men bullshit. I'm leaving. I'm going home. Bye. And then he becomes a taxi driver again.
Hey, listen, if that's better than being X-Men, full speed.
I mean, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other stuff. So Pyro, which is very, very fun and cool. And let me tell you, the actor who plays Pyro, if I have ever seen like in human form what it feels like to like age, I see it when I look at him. I'm like, oh my God, he looks like he's my age. He looks like a millennial. He's been through it. We've been through it. Fuck. We've been through it. So right. Yeah, that's looking fun. We have Patch. I mentioned this on Twitter. Patch. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I'm just so excited about it. And I'm just really excited about like seeing, you know, our characters in the MCU. I really love the idea of like, you know, the TVA shows up and they're the ones who are like, you know, you're coming with us because, you know, like he's a what's the word, variant? Or is he a Nexus being? Because they make it seem like he's a Nexus being.
To be fair, I don't remember. I also haven't watched Loki season 2, so.
Oh, I haven't watched Loki season 2 either. For like someone who has a Marvel podcast that they kind of do once in a while. I'm very behind on all of the MCU stuff, but also I feel like I feel like a lot of us are kind of feeling the MCU like exhaustion. Am I right?
Yeah, I think it's just different perspectives on what that means. So for some people, it's like, yeah, I'm actually tired of these films. For others, it's I haven't liked what they've done the last 2 or 3 years, so I'm just not satisfied. I think that's something people need to understand with that discussion that isn't being understood and articulated. Is there are people that are tired of that. Exhaustion means you're tired. It means you're drained. It means no matter what MCU film they put out right now, you're done. You got nothing. Even if it's the greatest thing ever, you are done, right? That's what exhaustion means. A lot of people are actually saying is they don't like what's been coming out the last 2 to 3 years, or they're underwhelmed by what's coming out. They want something to get them more excited again at the level that other films of the past did, which is fine, but that's not exhaustion, right?
Well,
you want more excitement. You're underwhelmed by the MCU right now. And if that's your case, that's fine.
Well, so I think the big issue with the MCU, and I think this is like one of those things that, comics are a serial medium. And when you think about like the great stories that were told in comics, like let's take the Dark Phoenix saga, right? What was the Dark Phoenix saga? Like 4 to 6 issues? I don't even remember.
Oh, so many.
Well, I'm saying like the initial, like that initial story, I'm guessing. No, the Dark Phoenix saga is a lot longer. I'm thinking about something else. I'm sorry. But just what I'm saying, like it took years to tell that story, right? Like it's, when we go to sit for a movie, we sit for a movie for 2 hours and we're done. And the story's been told and we're done. We got a complete story. With comics, like they're ever evolving and it takes years sometimes to tell these stories. And, like the fact of the matter is, even though we've got almost 100 years of, like we're coming up on 100 years very shortly of comic book superheroes. And, but even still in that 100 years, there's far less stories that they could create because of the medium than there are that they can make TV shows out of and movies. So eventually they're going to need to start kind of building their own stories. And that I think is where we're at right now is people are like, I want to see my characters doing the things that I love from the comic books, but they're kind of now starting to do other things. And I think that's where people are with it. But I like doing other things because to be perfectly honest, like you're never going to get it right. So just do something else. Tell a different story.
And here's the thing too that people need to think about that I really don't think is being considered. So if we love comic books, right? Like you and I, we love comics. We may love some comics more than others, but we love comics. There are times in our lives where, especially if you're a lifelong comic reader, meaning throughout your life in some shape or form, you've read comics and enjoyed them, right? Yeah. But when you do that throughout your life, there are periods of your time where maybe you're like reading comics every single day. You're loving them. You're super into them. Maybe you're doing a podcast or 5. I don't know. But you're so involved in comics, right? And there are times in people's lives where even if you're a lifelong comic reader, maybe work gets busy. Maybe a crisis in your life happens. Maybe family needs you.
Sorry, I need to break you off for a second. I like how you're like, you do a podcast like, 1 or 5 or like, I don't know, maybe like a third of one, like what we do.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, like in terms of, if you're a lifelong comic reader, and again, there are times in your life where you step back from comics usually, right? Because something comes up or maybe you're just not that into them for a while. You get disinterested. Like right now, I'm going to be honest. I don't read a shit ton of comics like I used to a year or 2 ago. I get maybe 2 to 4, max 5 books a week. And those are just on bigger weeks. I'm reading very select stuff because honestly, when I look at a lot of the comics coming out, most of them don't excite me right now. And that's fine. That's nobody's fault. I'm not going to waste my time blaming publishers or writers or whatever. It just is. And that's okay. But I still read them because I care. And even if you stop reading comics for a period of time, right, then that doesn't mean you weren't a lifelong comic reader. You stopped at some point for, well, no matter how long that was, and that's okay. These films are based off of comics. They're based off the stories that come from comics. And if the MCU is to continue for decades or even 100+ years, which would be insane and a huge accomplishment if that is to come, they're going to have periods of time where no matter who you are as a fan, you're going to dip off. right? Whether it's because they're doing something you don't like, whether it's because something in your life pops up, whether it's because they did something really wrong that actually was not okay by majority of general audience standards, whatever it is, right? There's going to be a period of time where you're not going to be as into it as you were. And I think fans can't cope with that. They are not getting the fact that, dude, even if you have a valid reason, I'm not saying you can't have a valid reason for not liking the MCU right now. You can have whatever reason in the world you want. That's fine. And you need to accept that this thing you used to love, you no longer enjoy the same way. People are grieving with a loss and don't know how. If you talk to a therapist, it's literally a loss in your life. If you loved the MCU before and now all you do is waste your time hating on it or saying how you miss the good old days or whatever the shit, it's because you are not properly grieving a loss. You have a right to be upset. But my goodness, accept the fact that this just isn't working for you right now and find something else to enjoy for a while. And hopefully one day the MCU will be what you want it to be. Your life will get together, whatever the issue holding you back is, and you can enjoy it again. But people acting like it's a national or international crisis for the MCU to be where it is to some people now, it's fucking ridiculous. There are people that still enjoying the MCU right now. Plenty of people. There are also plenty of people that aren't enjoying it. This is normal. It's just like comics. You're going to go away for a while and eventually they're going to make some movie you love and you're going to be back in just like that instantly after years of hating on it and slandering it. You'll be back magically. And honestly, Deadpool Wolverine could be that for some people. I've seen people that all they've done the last 2 years to tweet about how the MCU sucks this and sucks that and everything's terrible and blah, blah, blah. And this trailer comes out and they're like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually excited. Well, good for you. Like, don't you feel like an ass now? Because all you've done is hate on it. You just had to wait. And if this isn't it for you either, that's okay. It's most likely going to come. Get over it.
Yeah. I think the big thing is, the MCU has only really had its worst properties, historically, to go with. Because they had sold off Spider-Man, they had sold off X-Men, they had sold off Fantastic Four, and they were left with the dregs. Let's be real. Nobody wanted the Avengers until the Avengers became big because of the MCU. Literally, the Avengers were nothing. So, it's funny because everyone talks about how the Avengers are like the main team of the X-Men or the main team of Marvel, but that the Fantastic Four are called Marvel's first family, right?
And that the X-Men are the most marketable and recognizable franchise to Marvel to exist to this day beyond.
Oh yeah.
You can argue Spider-Man is a close second or right there in line with them, but come on.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure to this day the record still stands for the highest, the most sold comic books in a day or the most sold comics, and it was a Jim Lee X-Men comic. So the thing is when it comes to the past 50 years of narrative storytelling in Marvel, the biggest, most iconic stories have been X-Men stories, some Spider-Man stories. But you're talking that, I think the X-Men coming to the MCU is really going to revitalize it because they're going to have a lot of stories that they can tell. Because the other thing that people don't, the other thing too is that it's as segregated as it is in the offices, right? Because you have the X office, you've got the Avengers office, you've got all these things. They all work together, and a lot of Marvel stories involved more than just the Avengers or the X-Men or this or that. They all kind of culminated, they came together and they crossed over. So, now they can tell those stories, even though they've already tried to tell some of those stories without the X-Men, which I don't love. But, we don't need to rehash Civil War, I guess, moving on. The whole Civil War of it all, it's mutants were such a big part of that in the comics that for me, it was I can't believe they did it without mutants in the movies, but whatever, we're moving on. So, but yeah, I think that Deadpool and Wolverine's gonna be fun. I'm excited for it. I think it's, I don't know, I'm just really excited for it. I'm ready.
Yeah, excuse me. I'm just here to have a good time. So, people that
are for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, seriously, that's the other thing with the MC and all this stuff. People are like, we need the greatest goddamn thing on the planet in terms of like, it needs to be critically acclaimed. It needs to be dramatic. It needs to be funny. It needs to be action packed. It needs to be kind of scary. It needs to be not scary. My God, we need to reset our fucking expectations. People have to remember when the MCU started, we all had zero expectations. So low to the point that we allowed Iron Man to kickstart the MCU. Iron Man. Listen, Robert Downey did amazing. Don't get me wrong. He was perfectly cast. Great job. This is no bag on him. It's a bag on the fact we as a fucking people said Iron Man is starting this off. He is now the forefront of Marvel.
I mean,
that's how low our expectations were.
It was Iron Man followed by Thor. And this is me coming from as a person who, like, I fucking love the Thor movies. Even Love and Thunder. Yeah. I love the Thor movies. But, like, Thor as a character was like, what? I just remember when they announced it and it was just like, who's going to watch a Thor movie? Who's going to watch a Captain America movie? Like, don't get me wrong. I ate my words because they were great. But at the time, it was just like, who's going to watch this? No one cares about these characters. Nobody likes them. Like, it wasn't even a matter of like, you know, is anyone going to watch an Avengers movie? It's like, who's going to watch a stand? Like, they can't even sell the fucking Thor books. Who's going to watch a Thor movie? You know, like, but I mean, again, I ate my words and they were lovely and I loved them. But, you know, listen, guys, it's going to be good. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have fun with it. If you hate it, just whatever, don't watch it. You don't need to. Yeah. Nobody's making you. I'm not putting a gun to your head.
Yeah, just let's reset expectations, y'all. That's what I want to just put out there in the world. Let's reset our expectations with the MCU and with these superhero films and fucking let's have some fun, guys. We're here to have fun. And here's the thing. If that fun is not for you, you do not have to go. I'm not saying you have to be a part of this fun. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And that's great. But like, again, imagine if the first Iron Man movie came out today, right? Would it have done as well as it did when it came out? A lot of you might say, of course, it's so great still. It holds up. But let me be honest. The expectations that all these people have, and I'm not saying it's our dear listeners. I think a lot of our great listeners are lovely, positive people, like we try to be. But man, some people, like, they're out there on these interwebs and shit. You know, they just have their expectations so high. And it's not fair. It's not even fair to them as a fan because there's no pleasing you.
Yeah. That's why I always say fandom is great. It's like, if you don't like what's being written, if you don't like that stuff, then go write it yourself. Like, there's no one stopping you. It's available. Like, just because no one's reading it doesn't mean it doesn't help you. So just do it. You know, I love fandom for that.
And like you said, I'm hyped for this film. The part where in a trailer he said something about pegging's not new to me, but it is to Disney. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, that shit cracked my ass up. I loved that. That was beautiful. Like, now we're at a point, guys, where freaking Disney of all companies owns a franchise where somebody makes a pegging joke. I love that for us.
I mean, to be fair, it's inevitable because Disney is buying everything. And one day Disney will own everything.
That's the bad part. Yep.
Yeah. But oh, look at this. I have my Hugh Jackman, the Music Man cup right here.
Outstanding. I'm still so jealous.
And I want to remind everybody that I was in the same room as Hugh Jackman for 2.5 to 3 hours and breathed the same air as him. It was pretty. So, yeah. I mean, final words on this. I'm super stoked. I can't wait. I've always loved the Deadpool movies. They have yet to disappoint me. So I do not see this one disappointing me, but knock on wood and everything around me. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm still super stoked about Logan's costume. We're getting a comic accurate costume. So fucking Fox and everybody involved can eat their words back in the day of, oh, we can't do those bright costumes on screen. It won't translate well. Bite me. Absolutely.
To be fair, though, when they did come out and they first started, it did seem like it would be really garish and silly. You got to take everything in its context of its time.
Oh, I mean, you're not wrong. And we probably didn't have the technology and the, fashion technology, whatever you call that, to be able to make the suit look as good as it does on screen. So,
and the other thing to consider is that, the 90s were like when, the first movie came out in 1999. Or 2000, was it? It was 19.
I think it was 2000.
I think you're right. I think it was 2000 because I remember seeing it for my 18th birthday. So, it came out in 2000, but it was like, it was made at the end of the 90s, and like the 90s, when it comes to comics book costumes, that was like Rob Liefeld's time. And like, do we really need to see 1,000 pouches on screen? I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I'm okay with no pouches. So.
That's
whatever.
True. Oh, I do want to bring something up to you, Lisa, before we wrap up the episode. That I saw that it's not confirmed to my knowledge, so it's a rumor, but there's a rumor that the woman who played Logan's daughter Laura in the Logan film is also going to appear in the film, and she's going to have like a yellow suit, like a Wolverine suit as well.
I mean, that's pretty fucking hot. That'd be awesome.
I want it so bad. Somebody already did the Photoshop of it, and I was told, I'm like,
that's a tough one because it's like, it's always tough to bring back a child actor because it's like, are they even still like, where are they? Mm-hmm. So, but I'd be very interested in that. That'd be very cool. To bring this to Nightcrawler for like 2 seconds, I will say that it wasn't worth us actually picking the book up. I read it, or I went through it, and there's not enough of him to actually talk about. But Nightcrawler was in X-Men 31 this week, and he had his beard, so that was nice to see. Thank you.
Yay! I didn't do that because I didn't pick it up because I'm done with the Krakoa stuff right now. So
yeah, I mean, Krakoa is done with the Krakoa stuff right now. So anyway, thanks you guys for joining us for our little getting back into it. Hopefully you'll hear from us more often than not. We'll see. I don't know, but you know, it's a good time.
I'll say it's the plan. We are making an official plan.
We do have a plan. We did talk about that before we recorded. We have a plan now. So we have a plan, but that means that we have a plan and not much else. So hey, Lauren, tell them where they can find you, girl.
Well, I'm everywhere on social media at friendly MBHDBI. Apparently, I need to earn back my buy title, so I don't know. Tune in to see what I try to do to earn it back.
Girl, that's going to be after dark right there. So
listen, my Twitter, I do what I want. Day, night, breakfast with whatever. Breakfast with the parents, I do what I want.
Breakfast with the parents?
Well, like my tweet could show up on your feed when you're eating breakfast with your parents.
Okay, I just was I was put off by I need to prove I'm bi, so I'm gonna have breakfast with my parents, and I'm like,
no.
Okay,
no, right. I'm not going full Deadpool with that joke. Absolutely not. I'm good.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Well, you can find us at simplyamazingpod.com. We got all our socials there. We're on Twitter. We're mostly active on Twitter, honestly. I mean, we're on Blue Sky. We're on all the other ones, but like I never there right now until Twitter like really dies. I don't see myself going anywhere else. But yeah, Twitter. Come find us on Twitter. That's the best place to find us. Yeah. And well, like I said, we're gonna get back into it. We're gonna do some Exiles reading. We're gonna do some other stuff, maybe some other historic stories. But for right now, if you are like us and you were super excited about the Deadpool movie and you can't wait to see Pete come back as well, you know, just remember you're simply amazing.